Hello, this is Danielle Yałowiecka with the BBC News. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organisation has said that the Great Barrier Reef in Australia should be put on a list of endangered World Heritage Sites at a meeting next month. Shama Halil has more from Sydney.
The UNESCO recommendation has sparked anger from the Australian government, with the Environment Minister Susan Ley saying Australia would strongly oppose it. She added that officials were stunned by what she described as a backflip on previous assurances by the UN that this step would not be taken. The UNESCO report says despite efforts and achievements by the state and federal governments in Australia, key targets on improving water quality in the reef had not been met. If the recommendation is followed, it would be the first time a natural World Heritage Site has been placed on the in danger list, mainly because of impacts from climate change.
Mexico and Argentina are recalling their ambassadors from Nicaragua for consultations following the detention of another presidential candidate early on Monday. Officials from Mexico and Argentina spoke of their concern, but did not explicitly condemn what they called worrying activities by the Nicaraguan authorities. The journalist Miguel Mora is the fifth person seeking to challenge President Daniel Ortega to be arrested in recent weeks. The Las Vegas Raiders player Carl Nassib has announced he's gay, making him the first active NFL player to come out. In a video post, he said he finally felt comfortable to get the issue off his chest.
What's up, people? I'm Carl Nassib. I'm at my house here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but I finally feel comfortable enough to get it off my chest. I really have the best life. I got the best family, friends, and job a guy could ask for. I'm a pretty private person, so I hope you guys know that I'm really not doing this for attention. I just think that representation and visibility are so important.
He added that he would donate $100,000 to the Trevor Project, a charity that aims to prevent suicide among gay, lesbian and transgender youth. The Canadian authorities say fires which destroyed two Catholic churches in the early hours of Monday are being treated as suspicious. The buildings on Indigenous land in British Columbia are less than 100 kilometres from Kamloops, where the unmarked graves of more than 200 children were recently found in the grounds of a residential school once run by Catholic missionaries. A judge in Peru has refused a prosecutor's application to put the presidential hopeful Keiko Fujimori back in pre-trial detention. The request was made because she'd had contact with a witness in her corruption case. She was freed last year because of the coronavirus outbreak. Ms. Fujimori is currently awaiting the final outcome of the presidential runoff election of 2 weeks ago. You're listening to the World News from the BBC. The lower chamber of Congress in Brazil has voted to back proposed legislation which would allow the state-controlled energy company Eletrobras to be privatised, with its shares floated on the stock market. The government of President Jair Bolsonaro expects to raise $5 billion from the share sale. Eletrobras is Latin America's biggest power utility. The British government will later on Tuesday formally open talks on membership of a trade club of Pacific Rim nations. Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said joining the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement on Trans-Pacific Trade would unlock what he called unparalleled opportunities. Darshini David has more.
The CPTPP agreement brings together 11 countries, from Canada to Singapore, with whom UK trade has typically risen by 8% per year. The government hopes a tie-up will eliminate almost all tariffs or charges British exporters face in those nations and deepen other links. But the UK already has deals with 8 of these countries, so the gains might be less than 0.1% of GDP. The real benefits will come if others join this group.
Ivory Coast and Ghana, the world's top 2 cocoa producers, have threatened to name and shame chocolate brands they say are undermining a scheme to pay cocoa farmers a decent income. They introduced a premium scheme last year to help lift cocoa farmers out of poverty. But a drop in demand for chocolate because of COVID-19 and an abundant harvest has caused a surplus of cocoa beans. A new British study has found that drinking coffee could be linked to a reduced risk of developing chronic liver disease. The researchers analysed the data of nearly 500,000 people and found that coffee drinkers had a 21% reduced risk of chronic liver disease and a 49% reduced risk of dying from a liver condition compared with people who didn't drink coffee. That's the latest BBC News.